Alright. Fuck, I forgot I had to do a good intro. Hello, everybody. I'm back. Like Springtrap. Yes, my hair is different. My face is different. What else is different? I have a cool alien figure. Anyway, so, as promised, I've come back for the Five Nights at Freddy's DLC on Dead by Daylight. Now, this video is coming out a little bit, couple weeks late of the actual initial release, but I wanted to do that both on purpose and, let's be honest, there was a lot of stuff going on in my life. Don't need to worry about that. That's my stuff to worry about. You guys just are here for the entertainment and for the info. Whether you are a new player or somebody who is curious about the current status of Dead by Daylight, hi, welcome. I'm a player of Dead by Daylight. I did take a little bit of a hiatus from Dead by Daylight to play like Marvel Rivals as well as a bunch of other games, and then, you know, work on myself in life because, oh dear God. That being said, though, let's get right into the nitty-gritty, which is what you're here for, Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, everybody has been really excited about this. About a year ago, Behavior announced they have finally are working on Five Nights at Freddy's, and people were very, very, very excited, and I'm happy to say they didn't disappoint. They didn't disappoint. They did a good job on the aesthetic. They did a good job with the map. They did a good job on the characters' voice lines. They just, artistic-wise, they did a fantastic job. I don't touch the art team at Behavior at all. At all. Whoever runs the art team at Behavior, I hope they get a good raise. I hope that they're treated well, because they do a really solid job of designing the art and the aesthetic of Dead by Daylight as a whole. And as always, they did not disappoint. Oh my god, my hair, dude! It looks like I got a toupee! Anyway, you know, that's the art side. The map, it's great. Springtrap, he looks great. You know, they did a good job with both him and his prestige outfit, as well as the cosmetics that you can purchase. And also the skin that includes Matthew Leonard, who Matthew Leonard also voiced those lines for. Pretty good, I will say. You know what? Great job. Well done, Behavior. Absolute banger. Now I'm going to get into the core aspects of the game. Now, it is only the killer that you get, which is Springtrap. I know a lot of people were probably hoping, well, can you play as the other animatronics and stuff like that? Honestly, like, personally, if I was going from a designer standpoint, I'm glad that they only did Springtrap, because Springtrap is the bad guy. He is the killer. He is the guy who's responsible for everything. That's why he should be in here. That's why he's in the game. And having the animatronics themselves wouldn't really make much sense, and having them throw a fire axe is also different. But now that's where I'm actually going to go into, which are the little special things that you can do for this character, as well as, you know, some of the things that came with it. I think the first thing I should do is say that the new map is actually really not that bad, and they took a lot of the design from, I believe, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I only watched that movie twice. One with one of my cousins, and the other time with a bunch of friends that I met in college, and I hope that they're doing well. Hello, if you're watching this video, and I hope you guys are safe. That being said, it looks like they really based a lot of the design kind of off that in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and it looks like that's where they really got a little bit. They kind of mixed together both the original core gameplay and the movie together, which I kind of expected what would happen. You know, with the movie release and everything like that, and now we have the sequel coming around the corner. In those regards, you know, there's a lot of things to look forward to in terms of content-wise regarding Five Nights at Freddy's. So we don't have a lack of content coming our way. It's just a matter of licensing on their part for the developers. That being said, though, when it comes to the actual killer, I have some goods and I have some bads. And I'm going to go over the goods first, because the goods are actually not too bad. And so they're pretty sensible. So the first thing I'm going to go over is that the mechanics of the killer are very, very, very fun. You have a fire axe that you throw for projectile long range, and for your mobility, you have the security room and the security doors that are very iconic in, of course, Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Now, I will say that when it comes to, like, teleporting between, like, one destination or another, that's a very, very common thing. So it's kind of like they meshed two of the most common ways that they design a killer, and they kind of meshed it into one for his abilities. That being him to teleport from one place to the other to catch survivors by surprise, and another one to basically anti-loop, if you will. And the fire axe is actually kind of fun. It's like a mortar rather than a long range projectile. It's very short range. It's a short range projectile weapon, and it's punishing. It's very punishing. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but it's very punishing because one of the cool little aspects is that if, you know, Springtrap is right behind you and he goes for the attack, he actually grabs the axe right out of your back and immediately grabs you, which is actually kind of nice. It's nice, you know. You don't have to go through the tedious thing of like downing the person and then picking them up. You just grab them and pick them up and put them on a hook. Perfect. I got no complaints about that. That's really cool. Plus, the fire axe is a lot of fun in a tall loop. You just look right up, and if you got the angle right, boom, and it just drops instantly. That's why I said it's like a mortar. It's fun. That's that's pretty impressive. And I will say I'm impressed by some people who are able to already master that shot. And I haven't played that much Springtrap yet to kind of get a handle of it. And I am a survivor main most of the time, and I do like playing Alien most of the time, but that's Alien. It's very different from Springtrap. And I didn't play that much Huntress to know my axe skills. So credit where credit is due for people who know how to master that. The other thing is of course the doors and teleportation. This is a really nice little detail that they added for both sides, and I'm actually really impressed by how they did this. And using the doors is really clever. So for the killer, you use the doors to teleport from one place to another, and when you do, you enter the security room. You just kind of, you know, go across the security room into the next door, and then you're boom, you're on the other side of the map or wherever you needed to go to, whether that be a hook, a generator, the exit gates, your neighbor across the street, whatever have you. I think that's an efficient way of transportation, and it's fun. But the most fun of it is actually on the survivor's hand of it, and you still have, if not an equal amount of fun with the killer, but it's more fun with the survivor, because what's interesting about this one, unlike other ways that killers teleport, survivors can also teleport across the map using this method. But there's a catch, and I like it. There are two ways that you can use the doors. One is to spot the killer and reveal him to the whole team, breaking him out of undetectable. I don't know why that took me so long to think about, but it did. That can work sometimes if there's not like a long-term perk ability, I guess you could say, that adds undetectable on you. So if you have just the regular add-ons or just the base kit effect of being undetectable after getting out of the gate, it breaks you out of undetectable and you're revealed to everybody. Whereas if you're just undetectable, period, it just doesn't work. It's a weird trade-off. So it's not the most efficient, but it's definitely a good way of, like, if you're in a 4-man group, you can spot the killer, you can relay information solo. It's a nice touch, and I'm not going to complain too much about it, and there are ways around it. But then the other side is actually pretty interesting. Yes, you can use the doors as a survivor to go from point A to point B, but if the killer happens to enter a door somewhere else on the map or right behind you, he can either nab you out of the door, or as you're going through the little animation where you're going through the security room, he'll either pop out in the door in front of you or another random door within the room and jump scare you, grab you, and pull you out of the room. Which I was actually really satisfied about, because they managed to incorporate the Five Nights at Freddy's jump scares, which is what they're so iconic for, which are the jump scares, and able to incorporate that into the game in a very nice way. I have no complaints about it. And I think that's a fun mechanic for both sides, because you can either catch someone by surprise and nail them with an axe if you wanted to, or you can be the survivor, go through the room with a chance of maybe the killer being able to go through the door at any point. And that's where, you know, you can kind of work around that. Like, if he's mid-chase or carrying someone, then you go through the doors. But if the killer's quick enough and he's paying attention or decides to break a chase, you can still get caught unexpectedly and with your pants down, and then you're on the hook. Which I have nothing against. It's a lot of fun. Pretty cool. I like it. Like, that's a fun little mechanic. Now, my grievances. I will say this. I'm not going to talk about the perks or anything like this, but the perks are here and there. I'm not too much of a fan of them, but also I'm like, okay, you know, they're decent. There's one perk that I'm pretty sure people are going to complain about, which is the haywire one, which affects exit gates, which means you can't 99 gates anymore if this perk is in effect. Personally, I have nothing against that. If you want to make an end game build that involves that perk, go ahead. No one's going to stop you except for loud people on Twitter. Like, run whatever you want. It's a game. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. But besides those, I am going to say this. There were some bugs on initial release that I noticed very much instantly. One is definitely animation to power usage. And what I mean by that is that there's this weird animation bug that happens, and I think I noticed it a couple times since they did a hot fix. By the time this video is coming out, they already did a hot fix. And essentially is that when he's holding the axe and he's looking left or right, sometimes the animation doesn't clip to when he throws it. So when he throws it, he's kind of like stuck looking one direction, but the axe actually hits you around a corner and it looks very awkward, even though realistically he's actually looking at you throwing the axe. It looks very wonky, it's very jerky, and it throws off even a seasoned player because it just doesn't look right. Unlike Huntress, where it's like you know where that axe is thrown because she's looking dead at you. And there was this one bug that they fixed, thank goodness, in their hot fix, which was, and I don't know if it's still reoccurring or it's less occurring, but when Springtrap would get out of the doors, he's completely invisible for 3 whole seconds, 3-4 seconds, depending on how long. Maybe it's connectivity issues and stuff like that along with it. And you're literally caught with the killer being completely invisible, hitting you with an axe or you know, hitting him or being just hit with his normal weapon. In which I was like, oh, that's a little bit of a bug. I hope they get on it. And they were immediately on it and they fixed it, at least majority of it. But there are some of those bugs that still kind of exist, and I want new players to know, hey, that's just kind of how it goes with a new chapter in this game. And that leads me on to my next topic, which are the new and current player base. So as the time I am recording this video, I am seeing the current player base right now is at around 87k, borderlining the 120 peak that they had in the last 5 days. That's really good for Dead by Daylight standards, but the initial release was also at around 106k, and that's not bad. That's actually really good, and that was something that I think everybody kind of anticipated, that the initial release was going to pop off really well. Now, the month since the release to the month that it's going to happen is probably going to stay like this, and then it's going to start going down back to either its normal numbers or a new set of numbers that are going to be the average. But that's where I want to get into. We have the current player base and we have the new player base that's coming in, and the difference between these two player bases is very drastic, and I want that to be known right off the bat. Five Nights at Freddy's attracts a younger audience, younger adult, teenagers, and sometimes kids. I'm just being honest. That's the reality of Five Nights at Freddy's. That's the audience it brings in, and so that's the audience we're going to get in Dead by Daylight. For the current player base, if you're a returning veteran, or you're somebody of myself who plays the game off and on, but still is a consistent player every once in a while. Now, that doesn't mean that when I was on my hiatus, I came back to Dead by Daylight. I was off Dead by Daylight. I stayed away from the game. I had to do stuff on and off, in the real world, and most of it was real world. But the main thing that I'm saying is that the current base and the new player base are drastically different in both age, playstyle, and time and experience. And that's where I'm worried about where the game could go after that. Is that necessarily a bad thing? Not necessarily. I mean, for all we know, those younger adults, like the young adult audiences and older teenagers, are probably going to stick around the game. And by the time they have the income, also buy more DLCs. Then we see more plusher, richer experience of players. I've already had some new players already in my lobbies and stuff, and I have nothing against that. I'm fine with that. I'm chilling. It's nice to see a new face. I have nothing against that. But for newer players, and if you're somebody who really, really wants to win on either side, it can be punishing. Because if you're a new killer, you're going to get veteran players. If you're a new survivor, you are going to get slaughtered. That's the reality of Dead by Daylight, unfortunately. and it sucks. And I don't know if they changed matchmaking or the MMR system. If they have, please let me know down in the comments, and I would love to hear your thoughts on that. But I really hope that this game enters a new area of a new average player base, because I miss seeing the peak, because I like seeing this peak of all time, which is 120,000 players. And this is on Steam. This is not me accounting for Xbox, consoles, PlayStations like that, Steam Decks. I mean, well, actually, Steam Decks would count, but you know what I mean. That's not accounting for the mass majorities, and it's also not accounting for, countries where the game is more popular than other countries and where it's accessible. So that's not saying that this is a bad thing. This is all good things to see. I'm just wondering, okay, well, what's the next month going to be? And by looking at these numbers, even though I'm looking in throughout the month, I can only predict by what I'm seeing on the graph here. It predicts that it's probably going to be close to it's probably going to be between the 100K and the 50K mark for a reasonable amount of time. And I think that's going to carry out for about a month or two, if not a month or a half. That's me being forgiving. And that's just how it is with new chapters. I mean, we've had that with previous chapters, both successful and not so successful. Not so successful chapters kind of speak for themselves. There's not really a bump. I mean, there's a little bump, but there's not like a huge bump like Chucky or something like that, or Alien. But like really successful chapters like, I don't know, Resident Evil, we've had a substantial bump, but then the player base went back down a little bit, and then it reached its normal average one, which if I pull that up, isn't too, is pretty standard. It's in the low 50Ks, it's in the mid to low 50Ks, and then every once in a while, it was like all the way in January of last year, where it was in the 40Ks. Like, that's pretty average, and those bumps, it's not like what we saw before. And we got a massive climb, of course, this year because of Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, Five Nights at Freddy's brought in a huge amount of players, and the last time we saw this kind of peak, almost cracking 100K players, was back on Monday the 22nd, 2024. That was a long time ago. Think about that. That was a year ago that we saw that kind of peak. But this all-new all-time peak is really good, because that means young audiences, new audiences, young adult, teenagers. I'm imagining around those ones, because no way kids are playing this game. And if you are a kid playing this game, please don't. Go play something else, like Fortnite. Go play something else, like I don't know, like an old Lego game that your dad has in his Xbox 360. Okay, this is not a game for you. I'm just sorry to say it, but this is not a healthy game that you should be playing at such a young age. And I think anybody in the right mind can agree with me on that. Regardless, it is nice seeing this new wave of players. Does that mean it's going to drop like a stone? By what I'm seeing on this graph here in front of me, we could see a new consistency, but we might go back down to our normal average, which is around the 50K mark, which is half of what we're used to. Now, with the new players, if some do decide to stick around and start continuously playing the game, we could see probably around, I'm saying around the 60 or 70K mark, where people are probably going to be averaging. Not bad, not great, but the game is alive. It's not going to go anywhere. It's got great replayability. And what's nice is, and I think this is a really, really important thing, is that the grind is not as punishing anymore. Because there was one thing that bugged me about this game, was the blood point grind and leveling up every character. There are a lot of characters in Dead by Daylight, and leveling them up is the most tedious thing I've ever played in a video game. And anybody in the right mind can say the blood point problem was a huge problem. Now, after being gone for so long, I was pleasantly surprised about the new blood point system, which is basically you can completely take the massive amount of pool of blood points that you have and stuff them into one character all at once with a click of a button. And I'm happy about that. That's great. And there are so many things that it just solves, because now you can get a character who is brand new and instantly prestige them to unlock their perks for all of your other characters. Great. I have nothing against that. And the blood point cap, it looks like they increased it. Oh my god, it's so nice. It's so nice. Now, of course, there are other things. Getting those blood points is also much more efficient now. We have milestones, we have dailies, We have, of course, the Rift. We have, of course, challenges. We have new things to lessen the tediousness of the grind. And I already got all the perks unlocked for both Springtrap, the new Survivor, and the new Killer. I already have all the perks for all the characters, and I'm not going to complain anyway about that because there's no reason to complain about that. It's nice. I already have those done, and they're going to be staying at Prestige 3 for quite some time until I get my alien to Prestige 100, which is going to be much more efficient. Thank God. Now, that being said, that will also kind of hold the new player base a little bit because, let's be honest, the newer generations to this game don't like slow. That's just the reality of it. And it goes without saying that grind was slow as fuck. I'm just that's what it was. So overall, this chapter does show some promise. It does have its issues. If you guys want to go in more detail about add-ons and perks and stuff like that, you can come by my live stream when I stream this game, and when I come back to streaming this game and other games as well. I'm not going to be only just exclusive Dead by Daylight. I do want to explore other things, and I also want to take this channel into doing other things as well. I described that in my Dead by Daylight video as well, so you guys can check out that previous video about what I said about what I'm worried about, and I am pleasantly surprised about it, but I still have the worry about the player base, because again, this game caters to the current and consistent player base, and that's what a lot of the quality of life updates have been about. And there's no questioning that. That's exactly what it is. We can try and make excuses or try and do mental gymnastics, but the reality is that a lot of the updates in quality of life are about the consistent player base. And there are a lot of problems still in Dead by Daylight that I still found very persistent, especially about some of the newer methods that they've used that are both good and the bad. If you guys want me to make a video on that or want to talk about it with me on stream when I'm playing Dead by Daylight, feel free to come in on my stream when I go live. Be sure to check it out. Link will be in the description, as well as the video describing where I'm going to be going with Dead by Daylight. I do want to be jumping around different things. Jeez, my hair looks wacky today. Okay, that's much better. But no, I'm serious. There are some things that I do have, some things that I still find a little concerning, especially with gameplay. There are some mechanics that have been changed. I'm not going to say what they are because then that's just going to light a fire and away from this video. That I know for a fact are just really janky. That it's so out of place. And it just doesn't look right, if that makes sense. It just doesn't look right. But again, it's kind of like putting a band-aid on a giant cut or gash and saying, that'll heal up in the next couple of days. It's temporary, I hope, and we don't have to wait a year. Please, let's not wait a year. We have to get this steam rolling. You guys have a huge opportunity right now to take advantage of the new player base and keep them. So it's time that I think the best thing to do is to start accelerating on that and say, oh shit, we have something really good. It did work out better than we expected. Let's keep the ball rolling. Let's get this ball rolling, and let's keep these people around. Let's not just keep going the same ride that's been keeping us consistent for the next few days. Because here's the reality is that those players are just gonna pop away as quickly as they came in. Cool, I got to play a Springtrap. Game wasn't fun though. Bye. Peace out. Because that's going to happen. And it's not going to look pretty. It's just not going to look pretty. But otherwise, regarding the chapter, decent chapter. It's not like the greatest one in the world. I think it's a little, pretty much on point for what a Dead by Daylight chapter has been. Pretty much on point for what I look forward to in a Dead by Daylight chapter. Consistent. It's got a good whole thing worked around it. Great time to release it with the anniversary event. Not bad. Overall, good DLC. Good chapter release, and if you want to try it out yourselves, I encourage it. Go ahead. Right now the DLC is on sale for $5. If you want to grab it right now, it is not on sale on Steam, but if it drops down in price, go ahead, grab it, try it out, see if you want to give a whack at it. And if you're new to the game, welcome. And please don't let what I had said previously about certain mechanics about the game disturb you. This is a fun game. It has great replayability. It's just, it does take a while for you to get a handle of, because keep in mind, this is a 9-year game. This game is 9 years old. The majority of the player base is going to have players that just have a lot of time and effort in it. Like, that's like me, someone who has rarely played Star Wars Battlefront 2. I just decided to come back to the game, and people whooping my ass. And I'm still having a good time. Like, it's a fun game. Regardless, I love Battlefield. I love Battlefront 2 in Star Wars Battlefront 2. It's a fun game. So don't let the newer players discourage you. There are other ways. There are ways of handling people who are not so nice on the game. So you can handle that as well by just closing certain tabs and stuff like that. But in the meantime, it's good to, be here, talk about it, and say hello to you guys. I hope everybody's well. And be sure to be on the lookout for other videos. It's not going to be just Dead by Daylight content. Probably the majority of it, for the time being, will probably be either Dead by Daylight, Marvel Rivals, or even just crazy games, or even reviews of, whatever the heck I'm in a mood for. Because there's one thing I'm looking forward to, and that is my review on Alien Earth that's coming out. And I want to see that show so badly, and I would love to make a video on it, and invite you guys in, because film is something that I'm extremely passionate about. Film and TV shows, especially since right now film and TV are in such a nasty place, and I really want to do something to probably change it, and maybe change people's minds about how film is made, and go back to making actual art rather than corporate slop. And I think a good amount of people can agree with that. So, without that being said, it's great to see you all. I hope you're all safe. Remember, take good care of your hair. Have a good day. Stay warm. Holy God. Bro, I look like a fucking Oompa Loompa. Goddamn. You can't script this shit, dude. What the fuck? But yeah, in the meantime, thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to check out the other content on this channel. A lot of it's a little bit older, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Thank you all so much. It's good to be back, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.